I'm Gloria Cohn, and this is City Hall in Focus. Today in the studio with me is Jay Walter. He's the Director of Public Works for the City of San Carlos. Jay, one of the areas that you oversee as the Director of Public Works is sidewalks. And there's some information that you have for some of the homeowners.
That's right. In the City of San Carlos, sidewalks are a very important asset of the community. And we want the property owners to know that they have a responsibility to repair and maintain those sidewalks. If there's sidewalk defects, then there can be a risk and a liability to both the property owner and the city. So we want to make sure we take care of those problems as soon as we know about them.
Is this the way it is in most cities where the homeowner's responsible for that strip of sidewalk?
No, in fact, in most cities, the city's fully responsible for sidewalks. So San Carlos is a little unique in that way.
What exactly do you mean by defects?
Well, I've got a slide that has an example of a sidewalk defect. And so essentially, as we see on the screen now, the sidewalk defect is where there is a slight uplift from one piece of the sidewalk to the next. And that can create a tripping hazard for people that are walking down the sidewalk.
When a homeowner notices this, what's the first thing that they should do?
We want them to notify the city. And there's a couple ways that they can do that. They can go onto the city's website and report a problem, which will generate an email that'll come to city staff. We'll be made aware of the location, and then we can notify the property owner that there's been a defect reported to us. The other way is by using the Inform San Carlos app, and I have a slide for that one as well that shows you what that looks like. And then we can have, from any smartphone, a sidewalk defect identified, a message sent to the city, and then we can go ahead and figure out a way to fix it.
So there's actually an Inform button that's on the website where people can just click on and then follow the process.
That's right. The app looks like what's shown on the screen, and so it gives the resident the opportunity to report sidewalk defects or other problems to the city so that the city staff can take care of them. It's like having a lot more eyes on the street within the city to help us identify and fix problems that come up.
Then does the city send a bill to the homeowner for those repairs?
Yes, the city will actually send a bill to the homeowner for repairs if the homeowner participates in the city's project to fix the sidewalks. So there's a couple of ways to do this. If a homeowner wanted to repair it on their own, they could hire a licensed contractor, and then he could get an encroachment permit from the city and then fix the problem that way. Or by going in with the city's project, it's far less costly to the resident, and they don't have to pay permit fees, and then we'll simply bill them when the work is done.
If a homeowner decides to do the work himself, do you know what the cost of an encroachment permit is?
Typically those fees are around $250, and then you'll have to pay the cost of the contractor to actually do the work.
Can a homeowner do the repairs himself without hiring a contractor?
No, you can't self-perform the work, as you'd call that. It must be a licensed contractor, and they're generally much more familiar with the city's process for permitting and the standards that we use for sidewalk repair.
So I call the city and I can have the work done through the city, or I can call a contractor. Do you have a list of the contractors that I might choose from?
We do have a list that we maintain at the Public Works office, and so we can recommend contractors that are familiar with the city's process and the standards that we use.
Then you also want residents to point out problems or defects in sidewalks that may not be in front of their property, right?
That's right.
And why would I want to turn in one of my homeowners or neighbors?
Well, we think it's in the best interest of everyone in the city to be able to identify quickly where the defects are. And then, so by reporting them, we can fix them. And that way, it's not so much about telling on your neighbor, but it's letting everyone know, and we can get it fixed and then make the sidewalks safer and more passable for folks with fewer tripping hazards.
Well, and I did laugh about it, but it truly is a liability. And if someone does trip on a sidewalk in front of someone's house, that homeowner is responsible?
That's right. And especially in our downtown area, we'd like folks to let us know about defects they find, because the sidewalks in front of businesses are sometimes our busiest ones.
So you want residents to be able to point out issues both in neighborhoods and in the businesses?
That's right.
If I'm a renter, should I contact the city or should I contact the owner of the property?
Well, we'd like you to contact the city, and then we can make an official notification to the landlord, because a lot of times the landlord doesn't live on site, and we want to make sure he knows what his options are.
Crumbling concrete isn't the only thing that can be defective in a sidewalk, right? It can be vegetation or tree roots that uplift the sidewalk.
That's right, and the other thing to make residents aware of is that the landscape strip between the curb and the sidewalk is also theirs to maintain. And that's where we see a lot of trees growing, and trees oftentimes will lift the sidewalk or break the sidewalk because of their roots. So we need to make sure that they're aware of that as well. And I have a slide that shows that, and as you can see on that slide, the root from the tree next door has created some real problems there. All of those need to be fixed, and we would do that under our sidewalk program.
You talked about that strip of lands where landscaping is. You talk about the trees that might pose a problem. What about like a bush that's crawling on the sidewalk, or reaching over into the sidewalk that's obstructing people's ability to walk up and down freely? What happens in that case?
That's another example of where we'd like the residents to let us know, and that can be through the Inform San Carlos app or, again, via the city website. We'll let the property owner know that their vegetation either needs to be trimmed or removed, send them a notice about that, and then we'll ask them to take care of it. And that way we can keep the sidewalks more passable, because the last thing we want is for people to step off the curb in areas where it may not be safe to do so, just to avoid a bush or something overhanging the sidewalk.
What if I decide to plant a new tree in that strip? Do you have a list of trees that are better suited for that type of space?
We do, and that information is available through our planning division, and that can be accessed on the city website as well.
Can you talk about being a part of the program that you talked about, where the city will come in and do the repairs?
Sure. The city has a project that we do every year. And because there's so many sidewalk defects that we become aware of, we hire a contractor to go out and fix all of them. And so the property owner has the opportunity to opt into the program, as we would say, where we'll fix the defect on their property, and then we'll have the bill sent to them for the work that's performed. Now, the advantage to that is that we'll hire a contractor at a much lower cost for the concrete repair, and there's no permit cost to the property owner. So it's an advantage all the way around. We get a lot of defects repaired, and residents get a lower cost.
San Carlos is known as the city of good living, and having safe sidewalks that are not in disrepair contribute to the fact that you've had this moniker for many, many years.
Absolutely, and we want to make sure that with the increase in the number of people that are walking around town, to schools, to the downtown, to various places, that everywhere we can find the defects, we want to try to fix them so that we have less problem from people tripping as they're walking along.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you all for watching. If you want more information about sidewalks or anything as it relates to the city, please visit their website. I'm Gloria Cohn, and this is City Hall in Focus.